Welcome everyone to the second Secretary of State debate for San Andreas 2021. Tonight only two of the candidates unfortunately could attend, but fortunately it is two of the candidates that have most of the heat. Tonight we are very, very, very happy to introduce to Juan Jose, sorry, I get his name mixed up every once in a while. Juan Jose, please come out. Perfect. Juan Jose will be over to my right, but on the stream it should be to the left. And then his opponent, Dr. Alexandria Blight. Oh, geez, those lights are blinding you. I don't know. Yeah, perfect. That'd be alright. If you want to be right there. Alright. So, tonight we're going to be talking about a couple different topics. And tonight, obviously, since there's only two people, it's going to be a little bit different. Being said, I'm going to bring up a topic. It'll go from left to right, or sorry, the first topic will be for Top, second topic will be for Blight, and you guys can just go off the other one's argument or whatever they're saying. All you have to do is raise your hand and I'll pick on you, alright? So, starting off.
Wait, can I ask what's going on? Alright.
Waterboy. Can't deal with that. I appreciate you guys' security. Alright, sorry about that. So the first topic tonight is going to be about the DMV. One of the duties of the Secretary of State is ensuring that the DMV is doing the best it can and making sure everybody has their licenses, etc. Now, with the DMV being open sometime in the next 48 hours, what do you plan on doing to make it the most active thing so that new people in town are able to get their licenses? Starting off with Mr. Juan Jose.
Well, yeah, thank you. So one thing that I actually plan on doing is actually get more people to be recruited at the DMV or get a job at the DMV. One thing that we see is that we keep getting new people, around 20 to 40 people new to state every single day. To improve this and to ensure that we only minimize the certain amount of people that you actually have their driver's license at a certain time. It's allowing every person with the DMV to actually do a job in sort of situation. You understand what I mean?
Blight, would you want to go on that?
Yes, I do. I actually agree with my opponent on this front. I've noticed from the increase in how many people we get, how many cars are being purchased, how many licenses are being purchased, that they are always pending. I want to make sure that the DMV is getting those licenses, registrations, everything mailed to the people. That way they can drive their vehicle and not worry about having to show proof that they purchased it, and they can just say, yes, I have this here, here's the registration, here is proof that I own it, of the insurance and everything. That way they don't have to show pending registration and that they proof that they purchased the vehicle.
So what do you guys plan on doing to make it as efficient as possible? We don't want people who don't know how to drive to get their licenses almost instantly. So what do you guys plan on doing to ensure that they're properly trained? Starting off with Blight.
I will, as of right now, pretty much anyone can register to get their license. I want to incorporate mandatory driving tests for each and every person coming into the state. That way we can ensure that everyone is knows properly how to drive and isn't swerving all over the place.
Yeah. Alright. Go ahead,
Yeah, so what I want to do is actually minimize the numbers of people who could actually be in the DMV DMV. One thing that we have is that the DMV employees are overstaffed and need more employees. So what I want to do is try to minimize the people who could actually register their DMV and do this driver's license, and have around 20 people a day have their driver's license accepted. No more than that.
Okay. And how often do you guys think that people should get it renewed, if at all? Starting off with top.
Well, in my opinion, I feel like everyone should have it within. It usually takes anywhere from it takes around 2 to 3 years to have your license renewed.
Shut up, bitch.
Oh, security.
Yep.
Can you get that?
So possibly, I was thinking around 2 to 3 years to have their license plates or their license renewed, possibly their vehicles, as to also pay the plates on the vehicle. Because last time I checked, you should be paying your plates to ensure that your plates are still the same and registered to the same owner.
Mm-hmm. Would you want to go on that, Blake?
While I agree that they should have to re-get their licensing and everything, I don't think it should be every two. I don't like the idea of having to do that often. I think it should be late for vehicles. I'm sorry. I think vehicles should be every year. That way we can ensure that the vehicle is properly registered and still safe to drive, because a number of things can happen within a year. I also think that at the end, whenever a vehicle or plate and license is expired or going to expire, they should get another test. That way we can ensure that they're still capable of driving, and they haven't lost, don't have any problems to drive, such as Alzheimer's or anything like that.
Can I say something about that situation right there?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so one thing that I actually found is that the DMV is overstaffed. I state this clearly. If you keep doing it every single year, it's going to keep coming over and over and over, to the point where the people are not going to. The people cannot even have their license renewed. This is why I wanted to do 2 to 3 years.
Well, no, I agree for the licenses. 2 to 3 years for licenses is just fine, but for a vehicle, it should have a new registration every year. Because if you don't get if you don't have it checked, somebody could be driving something that's just literally falling apart as you drive it down. Whoa, what's going?
All right. So now I'm gonna ask you guys. What do you guys?
I want to talk. So, to start with, y'all are saying.
Sorry about that. I'm very sorry about that. Waterboy, can you deal with that guy?
Yeah, alright. The guy that's running around, stop or you're gonna get shot.
No, the guy who was talking. Can you deal with that guy?
One YouTuber, MOGIs, dang.
Who said he wanted to talk because he thought he was superior.
Fuck this channel shit some
if
shit.
you want to talk, just go to scene 5.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Diablo, I believe. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, anyways, back to the conversation. What do you guys think that you can do for San Andreas that the previous Secretary of State could not do? Starting off with Nocita.
What I can do for San Andreas is that, as many people may know, I am a private attorney. I've helped many of you with your cases in the past. I keep each and every one of those on file, so I can. I want to use those in order to help improve
rolling on the
San
floor
Andreas
laughing.
itself.
Emoji
By
rolling
making
on the
sure,
floor
by
laughing.
going
Fuck
from making
URP.
sure that the law enforcement
Shitty-ass
is
channel.
itself is following the law, to making sure that we don't have buildings being burned down, or at least doing our best to keep the citizens of San Andreas safe. My top priority as Secretary of State will always be you guys. It will always be the citizens first before me, and to do that, I want to make sure each and every one of your concerns are met. If you have a problem I want you guys to feel safe coming to me with it.
URP fucking sucks, guys.
Okay. And then also I'd like to say everybody who's watching this
Donchi
live on Weasel
suggested.
News, don't forget to subscribe.
NIGGR.
Anywho, Mr. Jose, if you can go ahead.
Shit is dog shit.
So one issue that I actually found out is the local
I
law
am a
enforcement. Not
bitch
lot of
looking
people
at my
believe that
TV. I
local law
like dick and
enforcement
I
is doing
get
one
my
thing that I
ass
saw from
swooped.
previous Secretary
Learn
of
how
State
to
was he
role
was
play.
focusing on creating new laws
Dang.
instead of actually helping local law enforcement. I want to try to improve
Fuck you.
the law and have a great
URP
relationship
fucking
with law
blow.
enforcement and the citizens of San Andreas.
Can you guys pass a law where we can rob people without
Alright.
having to buy a tire?
And like I said, unfortunately the other candidates cannot attend. So
Holy shit.
Mr. Kanye West, I believe,
We not giving no
he
likes.
has been,
This server fucking
there's been
sucks.
allegations of him,
Pussy.
possibly paying people to vote
UKLM
for him.
down, ma'am.
What are you guys'
Shitty ass
what are your
RP don't
guys'
have gangs.
perspectives on that? Starting off with Top.
No, do you want to go first, Doctor?
Go ahead, Top.
Oh, me? Yeah. So what I say is that many people think that getting around. I believe the last time I checked, he was on that. If this is true, giving $10,000 to every person. The thing is, how long does $10,000 really last you? Would you last you a couple minutes, an hour, a week, or so?
Sergio, this
And then
is
where's
JD.
that gone? But what we're trying to do, the people who actually try,
I can't see your text.
until someone changes it. They're saying this will last longer than $10,000 or $5,000. Sometimes it's not even financial need you need help with. It's probably buying properties.
All right,
URP
Blake.
fucking sucks.
I agree with my opposition here. If you get $10,000 for paying to vote somebody, what are you really getting? You're just
this
getting
is
money
Daddy
for
J.
them to sit in the office and not really do anything.
URP
Whereas
sucks.
me and my fellow candidate here are actually
I
promising
hate
you
white
guys
people.
a better future. We're promising you guys the ability to get more jobs, the ability to trust your law enforcement, rather than just some cash right off bat. I would rather, would you guys rather be safe and
Learn
have
how to role play.
somebody in the
Lol.
office that is sitting here promising to protect you, or would you rather be given $10,000 cash that you could use to buy
Get
one
this kid
car,
out of here.
if that?
This shitty ass server don't
Personally,
even
I
got
would rather
gangs.
help protect my rights than the cash.
All right. And now moving on to the next topic. Starting with, I believe I started with Top last time. Starting with lights.
It is all
What
about
do you
if you
think about
donate
the
then they
current
treat you differently.
housing? A lot of people are currently either unemployed or have a really high-paying job.
This
There's not
server is
many
shit.
not many people who are right in the middle. So, what do you say to those who
server.
might not have enough money to buy a house? What should they be doing?
I
BSM
want to
on
help
top.
those that don't have enough money to buy a house to be able to afford enough money to buy a house. I do know that we have a few homeless shelters around that they are probably staying at right now. I want to be able to get them to the state where they can buy the house. I understand a few of the people here are know that they don't have a house, and they say, "Hey, why can't I afford a house?"
Just
Part of
because
the
you
issue
got
with
banned
that
doesn't
is
mean
that
you
they're
downgrade
using the
the
money
server.
on vehicles or other such unnecessary things. But I still want to help them. I want to be able to get them more money so they can afford the
BSM
houses that they want, or at least be able to get an apartment, a cheap apartment, in order to start off. I want to make sure each and every
Never
person
heard of
has
them.
a roof over their
BSM
head.
on top.
All right.
Whether it be
Same.
from getting them a job to increasing minimum wage.
BSM on top
and now
for
you,
URP.
Mr. Jose.
Just to clarify, do you mind
BSM on
repeating
top.
the question one more time, just so I have the right idea?
Okay.
Fuck this
So
shitty
there's
stream.
currently people.
BSM we've been nuking y'all.
There's not much diversity either. Somebody
am
has a
gay.
very high-paying
I
job,
am
or somebody
gay.
has a very low-paying job. What do you say to those who have
And
very
we gon'
low-paying
keep
jobs,
nuking y'all.
and
I
that don't
am
have
gay.
housing?
Now,
I
one
am
problem
gay.
that we do have, or not
Leave
problem, is that
irrelevant
we
chick
cannot be
SMH.
involved with an for this amount
I
of
am
money.
gay.
But what we could do is implement is how
Server
federal
boring
funds
as
for
F.
housing
I
programs.
am gay.
That's what we should do. Because the
Nothing
thing is,
to
I
do.
say we can't automatically,
I
the
am
government, we
gay.
can't just go to someone like,
I
you have
am
to sell your
gay.
house at this certain price. We can't do that. That's a
I am
planned
gay.
economy, and that's what we're
There
trying
is
to
no
avoid.
gang shit
We're not
is
trying to
boring as
become
F.
China or North Korea, or in this instance, and have everyone in poverty. So if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. All right. And last debate we did touch on how businesses don't pay taxes. So since then there have been more people that have events, etc.
I am gay.
And they're not really paying
I am
any
gay.
money on there.
I am gay.
Hold
I
on
am
one
gay.
second.
I am gay. I
Alright.
am gay.
So what do you guys believe you should do to I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of DMs right now. What do you guys believe you should
I am
do
gay.
to make sure that people are paying their taxes?
I am gay. I am gay.
Oh, well, who's going to go? I go first?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I am
Go ahead.
gay.
Yeah, it's fine. So,
I am
what I
gay.
implement is, I said a lot of people are starting businesses because they
I am gay.
a lot of the executives
I am
that we know,
gay.
or any business board of directors or business directors have not been accepting their businesses. So what I'm trying to implement is that if you're going to start a business, please pay your taxes. We can't force you. We could literally get a warrant out for you for not being paying the taxes, but we're talking about hundreds of people here. But what we could do as most is try to increase the law enforcement of those stuff, or probably the courts, to have people pay their taxes of certain individuals. You know, we really can't tell you pay your taxes, and then you should start automatically paying them. And that's something that you have to do as personally, as you guys are trying to be living in San Andreas here.
All right. And then Blight.
With the taxes, I do know that I believe it is so often that our bank accounts currently have 1% coming out of it, but people aren't filing the correct paperwork for taxes. I want to implement laws and tax stuff so people that do not have the have not filed the appropriate paperwork for their taxes, that they get a punishment, whether it's from losing so much money from their balance or getting property removed because they have failed to pay the taxes and do not have the money. Because if they're not paying their taxes, then how are we supposed to be able to afford to keep the roads paved or the law enforcement vehicles and fire vehicles intact?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And now I will be going on to more of a touchier subject. There are a lot of people in this town that have very high amounts of money, some even amounting over $20 million. So what do you say we should do to make sure that inflation is definitely controlled? Starting, who did I start with last time? Okay, if we could start with Nosita.
With the people that have more money, I realize that they have earned that money and everything, but I believe that in order to control that, they should be in a higher tax bracket. We should make it so they're paying a little bit more. That way we can avoid people with less money complaining that they're unable to make money because other people with $10-20 million are just making that much money every day.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling properties for twice of what they bought it for, and then buying another property and doing it again. I believe that people with less money should be able to accommodate to be able to get some of that money from it, if possible, through whether it's joining the law enforcement or fire department, or just being on welfare until they can get on their feet and actually start making that money themselves.
All right, and then Mr. Jose.
Yeah, so one thing that I would try to do to lower inflation is the contrary monetary policy. I actually was studying about this. It's actually a method that is used by a lot of states. The goal of this is to actually reduce the money supply within the economy, reducing prices and increasing the interest rates. That's what I'm trying to say. I believe this actually was used in the 1974, and it was actually successful in reducing inflation.
All right. And now I'm going to be going on to a different topic. So, as many of you do know, Ryan, I believe it was Mr. Ryan Adams, he did get kicked out of the debates. Now, being said, there has not been many active people campaigning. And as the election is Sunday, what do you guys plan on doing to ensure that you guys have the win?
We really can't say because this is more the people have to decide. What we can do is try to influence people, try to tell us about our policy or my policy, which she has a different policy. Influencing, I'll help you with this local law enforcement and helping law enforcement as well. That's not just a problem. Helping law enforcement, talk to them, talk about what I'm planning on doing, but not too much to the point where my partner or the person that's going against me could use that against me.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of going what I'm going to do all over, sort of stuff.
All right. And then Nosita.
I actually I do agree with him on this front, making sure that we're interacting out there every day with our fellow citizens, figuring out their concerns and needs, and trying to teach them, or not teach them, but tell them ways that we can improve on it, what their issues are if they should vote for us. I also, personally, I'm out there every day, whether I am currently on shift for the police department or the fire department, making sure that every day that our citizens are safe, whether they need medical attention or somebody has been shot at. I want to make sure advertisements are getting out there and actively campaigning to ensure that, and then I want to make sure that each citizen is safe while on the streets or in their own home.
All right. And I believe it's Nosita's turn to go first, right? What do you think about the current gun laws? Nosita.
I apologize. My mic earpiece here must have been acting up a little bit.
You're fine.
I believe, as an owner of a whoa, what the?
Security's on it. You're fine. Continue.
Okay. I want to step away from that.
You're just please.
As I was saying, I am an owner of an so my policies on gun laws may differ a little bit from my opponent's, but I do believe that to be able to get a gun, that you should have to go through a background check and a special training in order so you know how to properly use the gun.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be able to go buy a gun off the street from just anyone. So like if someone were to buy a gun and then want to sell it, they shouldn't be. You shouldn't be able to just sell it to any random person. Maybe go back to a gun shop and sell it for what you think it is worth, or make sure that the person has the correct credentials, or maybe just not be able to sell it at all, just to ensure that guns don't get into the hands of criminals that could be shooting at our law enforcement, or worse, at our government.
All right. And then go to top.
Yeah, so the gun laws here, the situation, you guys implemented the open carry law, which I totally agree with, when you're having shotguns and pistol out to be in public. But one thing that I've seen, as I was a law enforcement officer and I used to investigate shots, when shots were fired, I see that 90% of shots that are fired are by the black market or illegal weapons. All the people who actually have these weapons legally do not use the guns, but they only use it in self-defense, from what I've conducted my research in. So one thing that I do want to implement is try to start enforcing the FIB to start looking into the black market, because the black market is becoming a huge issue within gun control.
All right. And then off to the next topic. Now, there has been a recent uprise in people attempting to overthrow the government, starting with the Toledo Bay attack, which was called Duckistan, I believe, and then the recent activities of the San Andreas militia. Starting with Juan Jose, what are your thoughts on the militia and Duckistan?
Yeah, so the militia of the Duckistan, I feel like they're people who are just trying to express themselves as less violent as possible. They want something that they want to be heard from. See, this militia, from what I've heard, that they just want to have their weapons out free without being pulled over by local law enforcement or even being arrested for having their guns. Duckistan, I currently haven't seen as much of a problem with Duckistan because I haven't seen anything in my reports. But if it does tend to grow as a problem, we will have to start trying to shut that thing down. Try to reduce its sort of, if it's a religion. So we really have nothing we can control for a religion.
And then Blight.
I apologize, my microphone doesn't like me today.
You're completely fine.
While I agree with my opponent on that, they do want to be able to just carry their weapons around freely and stuff. I believe that these people they're criminals. They're going around, even after being pulled over by police and asked to set their weapon down for our officers' safety. They're like, no, I'm allowed to carry my weapon. It's open carry. When a police officer is there, I believe that they should not be able to, if an officer asks them to set the gun down, they should have to, because whether you're being under a traffic stop or you're too close to a scene and asked to leave, you are that officer may not be safe around you. Especially in traffic stops and stuff. If I know many people haven't heard, but there was a issue.
This channel.
We had a learning experience about the laws of detainment. When you are in a traffic stop, you are being detained, and at that moment, your rights are temporarily adjusted to meet the need of the officer's safety, meaning that you cannot leave and you need to obey each of the officer's words as is a lawful order for them to ask you to put your weapons away. Now, with that being said, officers shouldn't be able to just walk up to a random person on the street that's walking down the road with their gun out, or on their own property with their gun out, and say, you need to put that away, I don't feel safe. Yeah, you're not safe anymore because you walked up to the person. They weren't doing anything wrong.
Mm-hmm. And what are your guys' thoughts on how the governor and lieutenant governor took action towards the Duckistan and towards the militia, starting with Blight? Dr. Blight?
From what I've seen, I haven't seen much happen, but that doesn't mean that there's not necessarily anything that's happening behind the scenes. I believe that the citizens should be able to hear more of what's going on, and I believe that we should be getting out the National Guard, Air Force, Army, Marines, whatever we need to okay, that was just an officer walking behind me, to make sure that people are that we are actually getting the Toledo Bay back, that the militia is actually being controlled. That way, our citizens can feel safe.
All right, and then now over to Mr. Juan Jose.
Can I comment to that?
Yep.
Can I comment to that?
Yep.
Yeah, so actually, from what I've heard, I actually have been the first person to actually see this militia. A lot of people are actually starting to state that they feel safer to be in the militia than being out by themselves with local law enforcement.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jose. Are you endorsing the militia?
I am not endorsing the militia, but the thing is, what I'm trying to do is I haven't seen the government trying to do anything. From what I've seen from experience on a property, it's that the local law enforcement, they automatically put weapons on a heavily armed militia, which was not the smart thing to do. Last time I checked in the book of a 101 is to de-escalate the situation instead of having everyone point guns.
Damn, Jose.
We argue this as a reasonable understanding. We have all these problems here that we all think, a gun is a solution. I'm going to point a gun at this officer, I'm going to point a gun at this man, and he's going to automatically get on the ground. That's not how the situation happens. If we were to get the government, she recalled that we get the Army, the Air Force, and also that's just going to be more aggression and more damage and more unemployment, or all this stuff causes collateral damages to civilians.
With that being said, though, if the militia or the Dagestanians come up at an officer or at civilians with weapons and they're making live threats or they're pointing guns at them, it is totally that natural for officers to respond with lethal and or non-lethal force as needed, because they're attempting to protect us and those out there as citizens. So what I'm hearing you say is that you think they should be able to walk around carrying their guns, threatening people all the time.
That's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. From what I've seen,
that's what I'm hearing.
No, but have you been at the situation where the militia, they automatically, cops pull out onto a property, they point out guns, and they don't resolve anything? They just ended up actually being 3 officers shot and 2 of them part of the militia gangs.
I did make that a point. I said that you shouldn't go up and just pull out your weapons at somebody. I made that a point because if a citizen isn't doing anything wrong, like they're not breaking the law at that moment, then you shouldn't. Person in non-lethal force is not necessary. It should be
just pointing guns at each other doesn't resolve anything. Talking to people, and even at a hostage takeover, talking to people, and talking to the person that's being held or that's taking them hostage, had resolved and then coming out sometime peacefully as well, coming over hands up. But the thing is, you're talking about bringing the entire army, an entire air force as well, which could cause collateral damages against civilians and risk their lives.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, we're at the point where they have had a hostile takeover. They have already taken it over, and we need to get those civilians and take it back. I'm not saying that they need to go in there guns blazing, but I'm saying they need to move in and secure it, de-escalating the issue before opening fire.
But proving some places have been proving that escalating an issue is talking out peacefully. Obviously, if we're going to go to another war with another country, we're not going to go in guns blazing. We're going to try to talk as gentlemen or men or people, human.
Yes, but we currently can't even get up to the Paleto Bay area without being shot. So obviously,
an FBI unit, a behavior analysis unit, to start investigating and stuff. Have the FBI looking at how we see we're trying to get in contact with the leader of Dagestan and being part of the militia as well. Instead of automatically just trying to raid this place, how about we start trying to contact the leader and trying to reduce this situation? Because what I'm hearing from you is that you want to start a war.
No, I don't want to start a war. I want to keep a war from happening, and to do that, sometimes you need to take action rather than words. The words that we have so far discussed haven't solved anything. So have you been in a situation? Have you been in a situation with the militia at all? Have you pulled them over?
I actually have been part of local law enforcement. I was a law enforcement myself, and I had to deal with the militia once.
Yes, I've had to deal with them multiple times. I've been shot at by them.
And do you mind telling me, when did you point your guns? Was it when they had their guns out, or when their guns were...
Hold on. That is totally off topic. We are currently speaking on your political status with that. We're not speaking on your personal issues with that. So, I appreciate...
Well, I have one last statement on this before you continue.
You may go ahead.
So, to my fellow candidate, have you heard, there is one saying that is as old as I can remember.
This debate is going really good right now, guys.
And that is all I will say on the topic.
But these terrorists...
Okay, please, Mr. Jose. Okay, so what do you guys think about the current push for higher-ups in LEO departments? After some of the higher-ups in LEO departments have left the state, retired, etc., there has been, the Department of Public Safety has been pushing the heads of police departments to get staff on their police. So what do you guys think about the rush? Do you think it's needed? Do you think it's not, right? What are your guys' thoughts on that? Starting off with, I believe, Top this time?
Yeah, do you mind repeating the question again? Because
Okay, so after we lost a couple higher-ups in the LEO department, rather if they left town, if you catch me, or if they just retired. So the new department heads have to choose staff members quickly. They were pushed by the head of the Department of Public Safety to pick staff members for their police force. Do you guys think it's rushed? Do you guys think it's needed? And starting off with Juan Jose.
In my opinion, no, it is being rushed. Yes, it is being rushed. The current situation is that some of these, I've seen what a probationary automatically go to the rank of a sergeant in 2 weeks. I've seen that three people already seen 3 people that a rank of a probationary has gone into a rank of a sergeant within 3 weeks, which then took me 5 months to become a rank of sergeant. I feel like they're pushing it, and this could even involve brutality within departments, involving issues within the police departments, lawsuits. I mean, what you did as the government, what you guys reduce suits from the law enforcement, which I appreciate that. Well, with your help as Governor Bryce and Lieutenant Governor Rick Rios, they have actually helped the department reduce lawsuits. The things that we keep bringing these people that are new to state and are only 2 months into state and as the highest position as even sergeants to lieutenants, I see that this is going to go back to the same situation over and over.
Dr. Blight.
I do believe that this is being rushed. We are not finding qualified people. You're just choosing somebody that just finished their FTO to become a lieutenant or sergeant. Well, yes, I've seen some people go from probationary to Officer 2, Officer 3, and they are qualified to do it because you've seen from their time as a probationary that they know what they're doing, but there are other people that are out there that barely passed their FTO by just doing the bare minimum of what they needed to do, that have no clue what they were doing, and they don't know. They arrest somebody without reading them their rights, or they go up to somebody and they ask the officer if they're being detained, and they say no, and they drive off, and now they're calling in 1080. It's not officers that are being trained as FTO need to make whoever's doing their 1012s and FTO needs to make sure to properly educate them on each and everything, and as well as that, they need to be properly educated in the police academy.
All right. Do you want to speak on that, Mr. Jose, or should we go on to the next topic?
Yeah, just go on to the next topic.
Go straight ahead.
Great. Oh, next topic.
Oh, next topic? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, next topic, yeah.
All right, next topic. Again, Sunday is the election. Now, there have been people speculating possible voter fraud, etc. Do you think this is a party-oriented thing? Do you think this is people being scared? What do you think about the allegations of a possible voter fraud? Starting, Dr. Blight.
I think that voter fraud, we need to make sure that there isn't voter fraud. As we discussed earlier, one of the candidates we believe is bribing people. That is, in my opinion, that is definitely voter fraud. You should not be bribing people to vote for you. In that case, it means that you as a person are personally scared you're going to lose and think that you need to pay people to vote for you when you may not be a qualified candidate. Voter fraud, I believe people are more or less just scared, and I do know it's hard for actually people to make a fraud vote on somebody's behalf, but I do think that each vote should be carefully looked at and made sure that they haven't been bribed or offered something that they could that the candidate it could make it want them more.
Mr. Jose.
So as I said, yes. So this reading fraud, this voter fraud has been. I'm not sure if this has been an issue, but a lot of people I could indicate you guys. As I said, the money is only going to be there for a certain amount of time. It's not going to stay there. But I understand you guys be like, oh yeah, there's 10,000. It's a whole bunch. This thing could help me buy a property. The thing is, properties are raising up so high, it's not going to last long. The thing is, we need you guys to vote freely. We can't argue. We can't babysit you. Hold your hand, like, please vote, or you're going to be arrested for voting fraud, or you can go to court for that. And then this is going to rig an election, and then a lot of people are not going to want a Secretary of State or even a government official position without having the government messed up. We depend on you guys. You guys are the voters. We rely on you guys to choose the proper voting, the proper candidate. But as I said, we can't obviously just sit back with your hands with your hand babysitting you. Be like this. All right, to be honest, when you want to vote, this you guys are old enough that when you turn 18, that's when you became the decision of actually voting.
All right. Blight, do you want to touch on that? Or should we move on to the next topic?
Nope, everything that my candidate says pretty much sums up what I believe as well.
Alright, perfect. Now, what are your guys' thoughts? There have been people claiming that it is an unfair election, as the governor did publicly endorse Honey Lakes, and the lieutenant governor publicly endorsed somewhat of a surprise team of Juan Jose and Honey Lakes. Juan, do you want to speak on the topic of you two teaming up to an extent?
Yes. So what me and Honey Lakes and what we decided to do is try to give you guys the best option of choice in a state senator, Secretary of State. We're not trying to be like, oh yeah, we want this position, we're going to take it over. No, what we want to do is for you guys to eliminate the people who don't even want to become Secretary of State. They just want a government position. They just want the fame. They actually don't want to do the work. What me and Honey Lakes have decided to do is help increase the chance of someone who actually wants to become a government official and actually do the work that are required to do as that position is required.
So what do you think about the governor and lieutenant governor publicly endorsing not only you but also Honey Lakes?
So as I said, the governor and the lieutenant governor are also human. They also have the same rights as everyone else. Obviously, if the governor decides he wants to publicly induce
I was going to say trans, but the code is on wrong.
That's fine by me. He has a saying as well. I'm not going to stop like, you can't do this because it's going to, no. If he wants to support her, that's up to him. If people want to listen to him, that's up to them as well. If they want to listen to the lieutenant governor with Rios that we're teaming up and everything, that's up to them. We can't obviously say that just, no, you guys can't do that. That's a freedom of speech as well. They have the right, they have the same rights as everyone.
Okay, do you want to touch on that, Dr. Blight? But before you do that, never mind, you can continue with that, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I will choose to remain silent on this topic due to personal reasons.
Alright. Another topic. So it has also been, we have some insiders saying that Dr. Blight happens to be associated with Lieutenant Governor Rick Rios to the extent of possibly being his personal lawyer. Would you like to speak on that?
As a private attorney, I help any and every client that comes my way. While Rick Rios may or may not have hired me, confirm, nor will I deny that. I do believe he, like my opposition here just stated a moment ago, they are citizens as well. They deserve the same rights as anyone else. Just because I am running for Secretary of State should not mean that I cannot help a citizen. As I said, I want to make sure each and every citizen here feels safe and gets their needs met. And that includes the governor and lieutenant governor, should they need my services.
All right. Mr. Jose, would you like to speak on that, or we can move on to the next topic?
Yeah, this has no relevance to me, so...
All right, perfect. So the next topic is regarding gang violence. Starting with Mr. Jose, there's been a lot of gang violence, even with every single administration, right? And every administration does what they can, well, at least they say that. And we've gotten reports from Rick Rios himself saying that he has spoke to every single person he possibly can, and gang violence is very hard to keep down. What do you believe you can do to calm down gang violence?
As I said, one situation within this gang violence is that one, they use illegal weapons. If we were to actually stop people from purchasing illegal weapons, this will actually reduce people being shot at. One thing that we could also do is try to start and then improving, or not improving, but how do I say this? My flame's fast. Trying promoting the gang affiliation. When you're part of a gang, it's illegal to do that. We started improving that, or started promoting that law.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people don't know about the law. I actually have arrested 3 people that were part of a gang, and they did not know that was a charge. They're like, if I would have known that was charged, I wouldn't have joined a gang. They don't know that joining a gang is a arrestable offense.
All right.
Some that want to kill me because I went to their gas station and even played for the gas. Emoji happy tears.
To say about that, we need to make sure that we keep the guns that are being sold specifically from people that own a business and have official licenses to sell, and as well as that, making sure that people that are aware that there is a law that if they are in a gang, they can be arrested for it.
All right. On to the next topic. There was recently a poll regarding the governor's approval rating. The approval rating came around, I believe, a 44 up to a 50%. It kind of went up and down every once in a while, especially with some people pressing multiple buttons on the survey. Anywho, when we had people go out and talk to the people who voted that they weren't doing the government, a lot of people stated that the DMV needs to be more active. The governor needs to be in town. Do you think interaction with other civilians is a priority for a government official or any type of political person?
While I believe that they should interact with the person, with the civilians, I have noticed that a lot recently that is not that safe for the government or the government officials such as Rick Rios or the governor himself to be in town, because as they land their plane, the plane is being shot at, they're being shot at, and they're having heavier and heavier security by the day, or by the minute. While I think that they should interact more with the people, I believe that they should take their own safety into consideration and make sure that they stay safe so they can continue serving the people.
Okay, Mr. Jose.
Now, I totally agree with their safety, but the thing is, they should be talking to the people, because what is that one saying that they have, that he has, or they both have, is Danny Miles will go the extra miles for you, but he won't even go to his people in public and talk to them about what their needs are. Like, if not, that's just a word saying, I will go an extra mile, but he's not actually going to try to talk to them about what they need to get to go to the extra mile. You know what I'm trying to say?
I'm sorry, Mr. Jose. You're attempting to get the office of the Secretary of State, and you're currently talking down on the current governor. Is that intentional?
That they need to improve people.
Okay. So, do you think it is needed to make people feel more comfortable?
It is needed, yes. I understand that a lot, but we have people for security. It is needed for people, government to actually interact with the citizens of San Andreas. This is why they elected them as well.
So, with that being said, while I agree with you that they should be out there, sometimes it is hard for them to get more security. I mean, while there are people out there being jobs, they don't want to get shot at every day. So you're saying that Danny Miles should go the extra mile just to be shot at, or Rick Rios as well? Because that's what it sounds like to me. I mean, just the other day while Rick Rios was here, he had at least 20, if not more, assassinations attempts, and he was just here to make a speech.
I've never heard of that public in any reports that he was actually assassinated 20 times. But the thing is, I'm not saying that they should.
I may be over-exaggerating the numbers, but it has felt like that.
I'm not saying that they should do it every single day. Maybe once a year, once every 3 months, something like that. Because I haven't seen Danny Miles in here, and I voted for him.
I do agree with. I do agree with you on that.
I voted for him. He's doing a great job with the open carry law and the properties law as well. That if you're doing anything illegal, the government takes the property. See, I agree with all that. I support him. I do truly do, but he needs to interact with the people.
So you're stating that if somebody gets arrested because they had a gun out, somebody gets arrested, even if it was true they were in the wrong place, the wrong time, or whatever, they should lose their properties?
That question is irrelevant to the topic.
Okay, I'll drop that subject then.
Yeah, as I'm saying, I'm not saying that we should automatically have him coming every single day. No, maybe once a year, just contact him. He's doing a great job. They're both are. Yeah.
All right. Now I'm going to be touching on another topic. So, what do you plan on doing your first day in the state capitol, Mr. Juan Jose?
So within the first couple of weeks, I believe I have even stated it as my little application, or when I filled it out, I stated that I was actually to let me just give me 1 minute. Then I said within the first couple of weeks, I plan on helping local businesses. By helping these local businesses, I plan on helping them with financials. When they need money to start a business, to keep their pay their employees. That's what I'm planning on doing within the first couple of weeks if I were to come into office, that position.
All right, Dr. Blight.
My first day in office will be used to make sure that those that do not have jobs and homes are getting to the homeless shelters and getting to the unemployment office or the welfare office, or help them get an interview at a possible job. That way we can ensure that we keep the inflation and depressions even. That way people are spending money, but they're also earning more, an equal or more amount to what they're spending.
All right, perfect. Now on to the last topic before we do final statements. So, there has been an uprise in people who some would consider are in the minority, rather they be of color, or be of the LGBTQ community. Do you support said people? And if so, what do you plan on doing to help them? Dr. Blight.
Just to confirm the question that you were asking if we support the LGBT and T and black communities.
Correct.
Well, as a member of one of the LGBT community, of course I support both. I have nothing against anyone. I think that we are all human. We are all on this earth, and that we are all equal, and everyone is equal in my eyes. I want to make sure that we perhaps get a day that we can use to celebrate those people, or have some type of way that they are just acknowledged, and that way they aren't feeling left out or excluded from us as government officials.
Okay. So what do you say to those who are getting in a bad mental state due to bullying, harassment, etc., from people who don't support the LGBTQ or the black community? minorities or any other type of race?
Personally, I believe that those that are having those issues should have somebody to talk to. And here in front of everyone and live on two fronts, I will state that there is a therapist. His name is Splash. That's his therapy. I believe that he is a good therapist and knows what he's doing. If you're having issues and need to talk to somebody, he is a perfect person to talk to. On the front of the bullies, I believe that they should be made aware of the how people that is not their choice to decide what people are, and that if they bully somebody, that there should be consequences to the front if someone is getting heavily mentally broken.
Mr. Jose.
So the LGBTQ community, I see that I support this. I am a Christian. In the Bible, it indicates that no man should be with a woman, and a man with the things we have no saying. It's what you feel. I'm not saying that I'm all going to support you, like I'm all going to do this for you guys. The thing is, it's your guys' lives. We have no saying within your own to do your life. You're being bullied. This is why we have police departments for you to fill out reports. We handle that with different departments, therapists, counselors, and all this stuff. But obviously, I can't say that I support this, as I said, because I am a Christian, and it's a different thing for me.
All right. So, what about the diverse communities, meaning race? The black communities who are officers are not treating the same as if they were white. Do you support races? Like, do you support other people's movements?
I don't support that people are doing this or treating people different because of race. This is why Martin Luther King fought, as well as Roosevelt Parks fought, and this was a rich history in the United States. This is why people in the Constitution, right? Everyone should be treated equally. This is why we have the Constitution. This is how America was even founded in the first place. By different races. I mean, if we try to limit just one race, you have it all. That's not there. That there should be all the one. We should share this state. What was founded on by different races.
Okay, so what do you say to those who don't treat people of a minority the same as if they would people in larger groups?
Well, what I would say is, how do I say this? If I really don't have a saying at what people will do or not do, as I said, I could try to advise them, is that just look to your neighbor, to the left, to your right, and really indicate that they bleed the same, they have the same organs, they take the same oxygen, it's a different race. You can't indicate just because someone just looks different, you're going to treat them differently. No. They die, they bleed, they smell, they do the same thing different, the same as you.
All right.
There's no point in all this stuff.
All right. And now for the closing statement, so everybody can now go home if they wish. But the closing statements, starting with Mr. Jose, just give out your closing statement.
What do you mean by my closing statement?
Like, tell them to vote for you, kind of tell them what you support.
So you guys, thank you for guys coming to this debate. I really hope that you guys actually learned from both of us or any other candidates about the situation of this debate, that you guys are really going to truly vote for someone that really deserves an office position or actually wants to help you. As I said, please vote for me as Juan Jose. I am trying and truly trying to help as many people as me, but I'm only limited as one person. But if I were to get the help of the government, this will advance the help of other people as well.
Okay, Dr. Alexandria White.
Is boring.
I appreciate each and every one of you coming out or taking the time to come and watch the debate, or come and see the debate in person, or watch the debate here on Weasel News. While I would love your votes personally, out of the campaigns, I do believe that you should vote who you feel best. With that being said, remember that I want to reach to the stars and beyond to help you. So let me vote for me so I can reach to the stars for you.
Alright. Thank you everybody for watching. We very much appreciate everybody who came out here today. I know it was very hectic, especially in my Weasel News chat. I would like to also say a big thank you to one of my good friends, Dark, for moderating the chat with me. But besides that, if you guys have any questions, we will be going off live, but anybody who is here in person, if you have any questions for any of the candidates, you can just stay here and
thanks, Daddy. I appreciate you to Daddy.
Again, I appreciate everyone, and we will see you